Well, 5 picks into the 2013 NBA draft, and we've already got 2 very clear losers. That would be the mock drafts, which have already been torched, and were really torched immediately after the number 1 pick. And also upside. I mean, it seems like there's been a slight favoritism here at the top of the board to draft guys who are more known quantities as opposed to maybe guys with more question marks, but maybe greater long-term potential. Of course, I'm speaking about the 2 guys everybody thought were going to be taken at the very top of the board, in Nerlens Noel and Ben McLemore, who still haven't been selected after 5 picks in. So let's run it right down. Number 1, Cleveland Cavaliers. They go with Anthony Bennett. Of course, this is going to be a pick that's going to be second-guessed immediately, not only because of his injury concerns, and there's some talk about his weight issues, but more so because of the positional fit in Cleveland. They've already got a power forward in Tristan Thompson. If they're not going to move him, and he was a lottery pick just 2 years ago, exactly how is that going to work? Neither one of them can play any other position. I mean, they're both pretty much undersized or average-sized power forward, so it's a little bit redundant there. I guess the thought is Bennett was a very good physical specimen, a guy who could probably play from day one once he gets healthy, and that's probably what the Cavaliers are thinking as they look to make their first playoff appearance in a number of years. At number 2, Victor Oladipo, a guy who was linked to the Magic quite a bit, ends up going there. He seems to be a sure thing. I mean, people don't necessarily see him as being a multi-time All-Star necessarily, but he should be a very solid two-way player, a guy who can shoot the ball, do a few things on offense, and also should be a very solid defender. Right now he's going to pair with Aaron Aflalo in a very interesting kind of a 2-3, maybe a 3-guard lineup backcourt, however they might want to play that down in Orlando. Number 3, the least surprising of the top 5 picks, I think, is Otto Porter. He plugs in very nicely alongside a backcourt of John Wall and Bradley Beal. No surprise at all here. I mean, he was sort of seen and pegged to go to the Wizards for months and months, and they didn't flinch at all when some of the other names started falling down the board. They just went with their guy. And number 4, another big surprise, Cody Zeller. I mean, clearly if you're the Bobcats, you've got needs all over the place. They decided to go with Zeller, who, again, maybe got a little polish as opposed to upside. He's seen as a good athlete, but he's not necessarily going to be, an overwhelming front court athlete. So there's going to be second guessing around this pick for sure, as the Bobcats could have used a McLemore. He made a lot of sense. They could have used an Nerlens Noel. He would have made a lot of sense too. And they couldn't have even used the next guy off the board, Alex Len, a traditional center who ended up going to the Phoenix Suns at 5. I think you're going to see a lot of speculation around the Suns very quickly in that Len being a center and already having Marcin Gortat in place down there in Phoenix. I think you're going to see a lot of question marks about, okay, is it time for him to move on? He was a little bit disgruntled with his role last year, and perhaps Len makes him more expendable, and maybe he gets moved into trade. All right, guys, thanks for checking out the NBA draft coverage, and be sure to check out SBNation.com/NBA.